Hey, good people. Excuse my surroundings, right? I'm in the hotel, still here in Hampton, VA for the Iron Sharpens Iron faith-based finance conference. Anyway, the day was day two, closed out of the conference. We talked about legacy, faith, and finance, right? So heard plenty of good things. The pastor of the church, the host pastor of the church, Pastor Charles Robinson, he was the moderator of the panelists today. The panelists consist of Larry Jones, David Robinson, pastor's brother, retired San Antonio retired NBA championship of the San Antonio Spurs, David Robinson, the Hammer himself, did an outstanding job today. And the other two guys on the panelists was one of the associate pastors, Elder, just had his name on top of me, Curtis Reeves, and John, it was either Urban or Irvin. Urban, Urban, or Irvin, Irvin. Guess I could have did my research. I could have Googled him because he used to work for Goldman Sachs. So, anyway, again, it was an outstanding conference. Plenty of good things shared, plenty of great information shared, plenty of encouragement and what have you. And I can't say enough about the conference. I can't say enough about Larry Jones, Keenan Grace, and Stocks with Josh. I've always referred to those gentlemen as my mentors, right? I've always referred to them as a reference, right? And I bring them to you and I say, you can follow these guys. You can learn a lot from them. I have learned a lot from them over the years that I've been following them. Very transparent, very honest, make outstanding recommendations, and they teach you sound principles to know about the market, both stock and crypto. And if you apply the principles, right, the principles do not discriminate. The principles don't care what color you are. The principles don't care what your net worth is, what your job is, how much money you make. If you apply the principles of the markets, you will reap the harvest from the markets, right? So again, I highly encourage you all to look them up and give them a follow, right? I encourage you to do everything you can to grow your financial wealth, right? They said so much over yesterday and today that resonated with me, things that I think all the time, right? They talked about how important it is to put a portion of your earned income to work in the market, right? Larry gave the example, illustration that he would come in, get ready for bed, and it's as if his money would get up and put on his boots, put on his clothes, strap up to go out the door. And they say, "How you doing, Larry?" Larry said, "Oh, I'm okay. Get ready to go to bed." They get ready to go to work because the market, the point behind that illustration, that example, was the simple fact is, when you put your money to work in the market does not sleep, right? The market does not go on vacation. The market does not need a break, does not need the weekends off. The market works 24/7. Your money is working for you nonstop, right? So I like to say, put a portion of your army of dollars to work, right? It was a faith-based conference, so of course we talked about giving God your 10% tithes, right? The first fruit of your increase. If you're a believer, then hopefully you've learned to put 10% of your giving it to God, right? Giving it to Him, being a cheerful giver, because He will greatly bless and magnify that 90%, right? As the scripture says in Malachi, prove me now herewith. See if I won't open up the window of heaven and pour you out a blessing that you won't have room enough. Okay, I'm not trying to preach. I'm just saying I believe the word. The word works for me, and the word will work for whosoever will. What? Whosoever will try it, right? Whosoever will trust it and put it to work. It'll do just like your money will. It'll work even harder. You can't beat God's giving no matter how you try. And every time you try to prove him wrong that you can beat him, he'll blow your mind and supersede whatever it is you're trying to do. Okay, all right. And they gave multiple biblical scriptures to support investing, right? I'm already up on that game, so I'm already aware of that. I've been in a relationship with the Lord for a long time, and so I understand that. But I also want to point out they mentioned, and I know I've shared this before, the inspiration on my channel. To whom much is given, much is required. So as the Lord bless you, he expects you to do something that his word says you should do with some of the funds that he bless you, right? That he bless you with, right? So, it's like you put a portion of your army of dollars to work, God supernaturally bolts on it, blesses it, and it come back to you threefold over, 4 times fold over, 5 times fold over, 6 times, 7 times. Howsoever it is, he bless you, right? What is he talking about? Do he know what he's talking about? All I can say is try it for yourself, right? I've been doing it for a little while. It's been an outstanding journey for me. Yes, your money will multiply, right? But it multiplies as you learn the principles, as you apply the principles, as you be consistent in investing on a regular basis, buying on a regular basis. As I always say, buying weekly, buying bi-weekly, buying monthly. They pointed out, when I say they, the squad on last night, Larry said, the stock market has been around since 1792. And I say that often on my channel. Larry said it. I Googled it years ago. It's stuck in my head ever since then, right? So anyway, he made the point how the stock market has been around since 1792. Went on to point out, I'm just giving some highlights from the conference, right? Didn't too much give highlights last night. I was tired. It was late, right? So today we got out, it was from 11 to 3. So I got out early. I'm well refreshed, It's just flowing from me right now. So anyway, he was saying the stock market been around since 1792, right? The U.S. has been around since 1777. So what's the difference between 1777, 1792? 16 years, right? 16 years. So the stock market been around since 16 years after the birth of the United States of America. That should tell you something. The United States of America hasn't gone away, isn't going away. Neither is the stock market. Neither has it gone away. Neither is it going away. It's a vehicle. It's an avenue from which one can choose to grow the wealth from. Choice is up to you. It's a free country. You go to work and earn your own money, and you got to make your own choices and decisions as to what you're going to do with your army of dollars. But I thought that was powerful when he pointed that out. And just so many things that the scripture talks about. How the Lord, he wants you to prosper even as your soul prosper. If your soul don't prosper, it's hard for anything else to prosper. But anyway, I digress. Hopefully I've said something to pique your interest, as I always try to do. I am just a motivator. I am just an inspirator. That's all I've ever done most of my life, from joining the military, from being around my family and everything else. I've always been a motivator and an inspirator. That's what I try to do on my channel. I try to motivate you to get in the game, motivate and inspire you to stay in the game, motivate you to keep on buying, right? Motivate you to keep on holding to your stuff, motivate you to grow your financial knowledge, right? Motivate you to tap into some of these resources that I'm tapped into. And yeah, so he pointed out you don't sell on red days. You don't sell when there's a market crash. You try to make wise decisions with your money every day, so you always are able to build up some kind of savings, so when the market do crash. And then he said when the market do crash, he paused, he turned around and looked at stocks with Josh. He said, Josh, what's the percentage of what the market does every time there's a crash, every time there's a recession? Caught my attention because I don't recall hearing that before. But anyway, so every time the market has crashed, and it's crashed a lot since 1792, every time that we've experienced a recession, and we've experienced a lot of recessions since 1792, the United States of America stock market has rebounded 100% of the time. Let me say that again. Every time we've had a recession, every time the stock market has crashed, we have had a recovery 100% of the time. If you don't understand what that is saying to you about the stock market when there's a crash, if you don't understand what that is saying to you when there's a recession, my friend, you need to do some more research, right? 100% of the time, it bounces back, it recovers, it comes back with a vengeance. We just had our Liberation Day, right? Some folks say liberation from your money, right? Stock market crash, right? Larry mentioned on last night, he said, I'm just gonna tell you, when it crashed, I picked up some QQQ, some VUG. He said one more thing. Let me see if I can pull it up. But he was saying how they all bounce back. They bounce back well. What I can say is, I heard him when he was mentioning QQQ and the market was crashing. When he mentioned VUG when the market was crashing. When he brought up Granny Strats, ticker symbol GRNY, right? And then Keenan Grace threw in SPMO. He said it's been outperforming the SPY over the past year. But anyway, yeah. So Larry had said that. I heard him say it during the crashing, right? And I pulled up QQQ. I was at work, and it was down. It was down greatly, right? Bigly, as Larry liked to say. And I pulled up VUG, and it was down bigly, right? And I was already in grading strats, and you know, it dipped a little bit. So, you know, I said I might as well average down, right? So I freed up some money, and I went in on all of them. Sure, I didn't go in like Larry. Larry was saying he dropped like 250K between the three of those, right? I picked up a couple shares of QQQ, a couple shares of VUG, loaded up on some Granny Strat. Within 30 days, let me say this again, within 30 days, my QQQ was up over $100 a share. My VUG was up over $100 a share. So I'm just saying, the man, he was dropping gems as far as I was concerned. And I'm just trying to bring it to you to encourage you to say, make sure you stay on your game. You continue to sharpen your iron far as your financial knowledge, and you will reap the rewards in your portfolios. So I'm gonna close out here. I'm 14 minutes in. I didn't do any prep for a section here. I just wanted to be able to bring something to you guys and chill out and enjoy the rest of my day. So you guys take care and be blessed continually, my friend.